Today's episode is about emotions, childhood, and our relationship to breasts.
If you were crying, I'd give you a hug. So why wouldn't you do it to a baby when it's their only form of communication? Right. This is how it affects all relationships, whether you're a man or a woman, because it does, affect our attachment issues. It is going viral, actually, and I have created a movement of women returning home to their organic states again, removing breast implants in a new surgery called the explant.
You had your implants removed.
I did, so let's address the elephant in the room. I probably wasn't breastfed.
This is Men Talk 2.
Welcome back to Men Talk 2, where we dive deep into what it really means to be a man today. The truth, the struggles, the humor, and the heart behind the headlines.
Yes, this is where we will strip the armor off and get real about it all, everybody. Love, purpose, sex, identity, and how men are trying to find their footing in a world that keeps redefining what masculine even means.
And today, we're unlocking a topic that hits at the core of every man's journey. Healing, identity, and connection. Our guest today, Andi Lew, is an internationally, let me first give a few accolades here.
Give it out.
Is an internationally known wellness expert, TV host, author, and coach. She's written over 10 books on love, longevity, and holistic living. And she's the creator of the Well-To-Do podcast, where she helps people find balance in their mind, body, and relationships. Her work bridges wellness and science, helping men heal, and women too, heal from within and reclaim their authentic selves.
She's beautiful, smart, grounded, and not afraid to talk about what most people won't talk about. Please welcome Andi Lew to Men Talk 2.
Now I'm allowed to talk.
Now you can speak.
You can speak, and we're so glad to have you.
Thank you so much. And, obviously I've done a lot, so it did take you a while to get through my bio, that's for sure. You did well. I'm really curious about this because, men do talk. Traditionally, people thought that, I think the word quota for a man to talk per day was 20,000 words, and women were 20,000 words, and the men were only 7,000 words. But there was no science behind this,
that
you
seems
guys.
higher than what I would think, but go on.
Right. Well, then in 2007, there was a landmark study done in Arizona University, actually, and they monitored men and women, and they discovered that it was 16,000 words for women and 15,500 for men. So it's only about a 500-word count difference, actually. Interesting that, times are changing, and I'm sure if they did a more recent study again, you would probably see something very different yet again. And my whole theory is that not only are men starting to open up a little bit more, but we've got the science now, and we're also bringing in very fast-paced technology. So we're probably, I guess, talking a little bit less sometimes and a little bit more in relationships, hopefully.
Well, we hope so. We spoke earlier, and it fascinates me how you can be so brilliant at this entire thing, because that's why we're here. Men really, some of us, we strive to be better, but it's hard. And to get your opinion as a woman is very important. We spoke a little bit about what brought you to where you are today after decades of being an expert everywhere on TV, Queen of Australia, wellness, et cetera, now America. So how did it work, say, even when you were a kid? How was the relationships or the mentoring, or what brought you here?
Yeah, your mission.
Yeah, I feel like it is a divine mission. I was coming backwards and forwards on press tours with my 10 books, you say. I'm working on my 11th now. And I always write about anything to do with wellness, connection, parenting, even dating apps. There was no book of rules on how to sort of navigate dating apps. And so I researched for 4 years, and then I actually helped you with all of that new stuff, how do these new sort of in their 40s women and men go about reconnecting again after divorce. And, we didn't think that we would land up in this situation. So, as somebody who is, I guess, social observing, observing social culture, finding problems in that social culture, and then helping people to live better quality of lives, whether it's through relationships or their health and wellness. So I know I look much younger than my age. I'm 72 next year.
I love that, yes.
No, I'm 53 next year.
53,
but yeah, a lot of people do say that I look much younger than my age. I do walk my talk. And it works. What I teach works. And so after coming off, television sets with my books on press tours, producers would always say to my publicist, wow, she's brilliant. We need her as a regular. And so it planted a seed. Eventually, I was living in Sydney, Bondi Beach, and I thought, you know what, it would be so much easier to just live in America instead of going backwards and forwards for press tours. Maybe I'll apply for that extraordinary talent visa, and then here I am.
And you got that. But
yeah.
I want to go a little further back
Yeah.
if it's not too, I don't want to be too personal or anything.
Don't go anywhere. We'll be back in just a moment with more conversation, right after a quick word from our sponsors. This is Men Talk 2.
Pilates Pro Chair Max combines the sculpting power of Pilates with easy, effective cardio exercise workout videos. Available on demand anywhere. A Pilates machine designed to help you get a leaner, stronger, and more flexible body. Engineered for all fitness levels, it targets every muscle group with low-impact workouts that deliver the highest results. Work your arms and entire body together or separately, making every workout tailored to your needs. Are you ready to transform your body and elevate your fitness routine from the comfort of your home? Take the first step towards a leaner, healthier, happier you.
Build and shape your glutes in less time. Looking to tone your glutes and improve your overall fitness level? The Booty Bridge is perfect for at-home workouts. This simple device can help you achieve amazing results. Designed for all fitness levels, Booty Bridge is easy to use, so you'll be able to get a great workout even if you're not a fitness expert. The Booty Bridge is portable, so you can take it with you wherever you go and easily fold it to stow away at home. Build a beach-worthy booty. This is Booty Bridge.
All right, we're back. Let's jump right back into the conversation. This is Men Talk 2.
But we spoke a little bit about your family and your grandma, who
Yeah.
was really influential.
Yeah.
With you. Can you talk a little bit about that without going too
Yeah,
deep?
well, in context, we talked about that because we were bringing up, generational trauma and where we came from. So I think that, if we want to understand, traditionally where men may have not talked, where children may have been told you can be seen but not heard, and that sort of upbringing is very important to look at when we're moving through this evolution of the human spirit, if you like. And so, yeah, and what we're seeing now is, I guess, people starting to uncover and unlock what had gone on with their previous generations
about
and
your
families.
experience.
Mine was an absolute survivor story. My grandma, she was, and my grandfather, they were Moroccan, Spanish heritage. And my grandma, her mum passed away in her arms at the age of 12. She had to look after her 4 baby brothers and sisters and become the mother of that family. She quickly met at the age of 16 my grandfather, who she wanted to marry, and she asked her father for permission. I'm going to go and get married. And he said, no, you're too young to get married. And she said, well, I wasn't too young to have this family, so I'm going to go and have my own now. So they fled to the new state of Israel, actually, because they were giving out rations of food. And I was like, well, what were the rations of food? And she said, a bread roll, a pint of milk, and an orange per day, which was apparently more than what they had when they lived in Morocco. Wow. So, this kind of, and then the story, just, I could go on and on about it. It's really fascinating.
We're sitting here. Tell us.
Yeah.
You did something special happened to make you who you are.
Exactly. Well, and that's the essence of, I guess, wanting to unlock that in somebody so that they can then show you their authentic self.
Right,
and
reach their potential.
Exactly, but also have an understanding of that human a little bit more, because we're all so different, and until we actually know where did we come from. By the way, that was my favourite book, which talked about the birds and the bees, which I'd love to talk about. Where did I come from?
We will.
Yes, there's a great story. Can you remind me?
Yes, we will.
So then Margot, her name was, spelled with a T, French, because that's what they speak in Morocco.
Your mother?
My mother's mother.
Your mother's mother.
Yeah, she then got a job in the hospital sterilising utensils. He had to go and fight in the Israeli War of Independence, and they had 4 kids, one after the other. My grandmother, she didn't have much, so they never let anything go to waste. I became an incredible cook as a result of her genius cooking. Imagine being 12 years old and knocking on the doors of neighbours and asking, how do I cook for these, brothers and sisters? So she became very creative and that survivor. Right. And so my mum would go off to work when she came to visit us in Australia from Israel, because we had moved. My mum and dad actually made me. He was with Polish and Russian heritage, even though he was Australian, and his parents were World War II survivors. But he went on a kibbutz to Israel, met my mum, made me, and then she thought, great, this is my ticket out of here. Let's go to this beautiful island of Australia, not realising when he took her to Melbourne, which is right near the bottom of the earth, right near Tasmania and the South Pole, actually. She's like, what is this freezing place? I thought I was going to an island.
To a beach.
Yeah, exactly. So anyway, and then I became Australian, and again, more survivor mentality. But my grandmother used to come visit, and she would cook in the kitchen from 5 a.m. and I would pretend to be sick so that I could stay home from school. And, my mother would kind of check my forehead temperature and say, but you haven't got a fever. And I said, oh, it's my stomach. She probably thought to herself, well, if there's any ever a time I can leave her home, it'll be now with
grandma.
So then the Valiant would drive off down the driveway.
The Valiant.
Yeah. And then I remember going, yes, here we go. And I'd act and sneak off into the kitchen going, oh, I'm really sick. And then she'd turn around and the whole, kitchen would be laid out with bread, yeast rising, the challah, everything from scratch, all the cakes.
She's got the ha-ha.
She's got
it. And I wanted to learn how to plait the bread and make the bread. It was so creative. And she would turn around and go, oh, sit down and shut up. I know you're not sick. Now watch. And so we would have these secret.
So you guys knew the plan.
Yeah, we had a little secret going on. And that was
what a great
beauty.
bonding experience, though, to have that.
Yeah, and you know what? Not enough people are bonding with their grandparents or getting involved.
It's so important, yeah.
Right, so on that note, there's a lot of detachment parenting going on.
That's really where I wanted to get to. So you got there first. What does that mean? How do you see that?
I was on a show called 60 Minutes. Most people have heard of that. It's international. It was in Australia and America. And attachment parenting is the notion of practices like not letting your baby cry themselves to sleep, rocking them to sleep, because it actually helps with the vestibular system. So the swaying and the rocking can help develop the human's vestibular system at such a young age. That's why when I give you a baby, you start swaying, you don't even realize it. It's innate.
It's natural, yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, and even rocking supposedly gives you this same feeling,
exactly.
Right?
And the beautiful indigenous in America, the American Indians, have papooses and they're swinging, in the hammock. It's also natural and normal, and it's good for neurological development. But there's this Western world practice now where you got to lock the kid up from 7 till 7 in a room, cry themselves to sleep, and it's actually quite barbaric. So this isn't just my opinion, but this is in a book that I read and wrote, actually. Went on 60 Minutes with this about the human brain is in 3 parts, right? So you have mammalian, reptilian and rational parts of the brain, and they don't fully integrate and become one brain until about the age of 5 or 7. So that's why there's this saying, you show me the boy until he is 7 and I'll show you the man. There's a lot of neurological development and programming going on in that time from womb to 5 or 7. So you can't have a rational conversation.
Including birth? May I go back to the birth? Is the birth important?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And we can go deep into that because how we come into the world says a lot about who we are.
Like how?
Well, for example, there's a lot of elective cesareans or emergency cesareans, and so the human body is supposed to build up all of this tension as it's passing through the birthing canal and then release it. But also have that vaginal birth allows them to have a huge gulp of the prebiotics, which can prevent things like jaundice and things like that.
Right, it's nutritional.
Exactly, but everything, immune system. So, but if you dial it back now and you go, well, the human brain isn't fully integrated and become one brain until about the age of 5 or 7, that means you're not having rational conversations, because the human goes, well, I actually really believe that the big lion's going to come and eat me if I'm crying. And so therefore it's easier for me, if you're control crying me, to feign death, F-E-I-G-N. Right. It's safer for me to do that. There's too much cortisol level. And so therefore I need to protect myself. So I want the lion to come and eat me, and I am going to just feign death like they do in the animal kingdom. So you think that you've control cried your baby to sleep and they've self-settled, but you've actually shut down part of their neurological development as a result. And there is such thing as, creating attachment issues, abandonment,
Wait, so you're telling me
depressed.
when the baby cries, because I was told, let the baby cry.
Yeah.
But that's complete opposite to what we should be doing.
It's just a new barbaric Western world practice, but the way in which the human brain is designed has not changed. So even though we do live in safe houses now, we don't have that threat of the animal kingdom. The way in which the human brain develops hasn't changed. So the neurological development will be impaired, and you can see it in like studies in this book that I wrote, and also another one where with a PhD scientist, and it was called The Science of Parenting. So, you know, again, if you are attachment parenting practices where you're helping the child to settle, you're showing them that we live in a benign world that can be trusted, and you know, there are...
So just be comforting them versus just putting them off in the room to let them cry themselves.
Exactly. Now, Elliot, if you were crying, I'd give you a hug. So why wouldn't you do it to a baby when it's their only form of communication?
How directly does that affect a man, or a boy?
Yeah.
How for a boy?
Yeah, so it does. That's a great question. And this is how it affects all relationships, whether you're a man or a woman, because it does, you know, affect our attachment issues. So people go, oh, well, now, you know, it's a needy child. Well, it's research shows and science shows it's actually the opposite. You're creating a very emotionally secure human by doing that from womb to 7, right? So now we don't have attachment issues, abandonment issues, depression, anxiety, and all of these other things that the science is showing when you have attachment parented children.
So that's a huge problem for men, right?
Yeah, because imagine...
Is that number one problem for men?
100%. And I'm so glad that we started off the show with this, because if we can, this is real prevention rather than cure. If we can actually...
You can stop that from the beginning.
Yeah, create humans that are more empathetic,
right.
Can adapt to stress so much better, self-regulate their emotional intellect. So this is where you get like emotional intelligence through the roof with humans that have been full-term breastfed, co-sleeping, baby wearing.
What if you're not breastfed? Well, you just said that. I'm just going to pick one thing out.
Yeah, no, I've worked with some of the best lactation consultants in the world. And actually one of them, Pinky McKay, she's written a testimonial in my latest book, and her hair is pink, and she's a fantastic grandma. She's such a cool lady. And, you know, we talk about how many...
breast color.
Well, it's definitely the healthiest thing you can do for your child, right? I mean,
that's right. And I mean, look, she loves pink because teaching needs to be fun. We learn more when we're having fun. So here's this fantastic 80-year-old grandma with bright pink hair and all this sort of stuff teaching us about lactation. And so she's saying that those who can't, and don't get me wrong, there are a lot of lactation consultants that are only having like 3 days worth of experience in getting women to lactate in hospitals, and then off you go. But her level of expertise is up until 6 weeks that she can get them lactating. It's such a spiritual experience, and it's not about timing feeds and all of that. But there's cross-patterning that goes on with the neurological development. So again, if you're not breastfeeding, so there's a reason why we have 2 breasts. One is on this side, the other is on that side, for the child to actually look up this way and have eye contact with the parent, and then look that way for the cross-patterning of the brain to happen and get the eye contact that way. There's a lot of development going on that we don't realise, and there's a huge problem with babies holding the bottle themselves in a pram facing forward with no eye contact.
That was the worst thing for one of my sons. My ex, unfortunately, a beautiful heart, beautiful woman, but she had an alcohol issue. And my one son, he refused to take the breast. So, because I think for whatever...
Yeah.
Why would, probably because of maybe alcohol?
It's, there are so many different reasons. It could be a tongue tie, it could be vertebral subluxation. Babies, there's pediatric chiropractic that can help, depending on how their birthing experience or birthing trauma went. And even just for the mum as well, to feel relaxed, supported. It's such a spiritual experience.
Yeah, the whole thing, right?
Yeah, the whole community,
what
family.
If you missed that?
Well, that's it. We used to sit under trees with, sisters and aunts and talk about it, and it was normal. Now we're putting a blanket over their head, and it's like, well, if you've got a problem with this, then you go put a blanket over your head. But we're taught that we have to shame and cover, and so we don't know enough. And
what does that result in when the boy becomes a man?
Yeah, it results in a lot, and I'm so glad that you asked, because we're over-sexualizing something that when the female...
It's very natural and very important and should not be sexualized.
So important. And you have a look at so many men who have great relationships with their mothers. They have great relationships with their wives as well, or their partners. But what can can happen is, through this stigma and shame, we do over-sexualize this body part. It doesn't happen in places like Africa where they're wearing the grass skirts and things like that. It has to be in context. So it is an issue with the wellness world, with the modern world. And in my wellness work, I've written my most recent book, which is called Treasured Chest. And it actually exposes...
I've started reading this one. This, listeners, is a doozy. It's real winner.
It is going viral, actually, and I have created a movement of women returning home to their organic states again, removing breast implants in a new surgery called the explant.
You had your implants removed.
I did. So let's address the elephant in the room. I probably wasn't breastfed. No,
that was my next question.
Yeah, no. I had reasons for doing so that were psychological and not just for aesthetic reasons. I do uncover that in the book, and I had to remove the deep shame when I did go through the explant, which is not just removal of the implant, but also the surrounding scar tissue. That surrounding scar tissue, or the capsule, is actually needing to be sent off to third-party labs to be tested for new types of cancers called squamous cell carcinoma and anaplastic large cell lymphoma. But a lot of my readers of Treasured Chest are looking at the book and going, wow, you're actually reminding me of trauma that I had, which kind of led me to having the augmentation in the first place. So removing the deep shame, changing the international narrative around, well, you did this to yourself, why should we care? And finally, there's new data to support that indeed they are an inflammatory driver, creating a cytokine storm.
A what?
A cytokine storm.
Like a storm of...
An inflammatory response.
Inflammation.
Yeah, and so the symptoms are hair loss, loss of libido, blurry vision, inability to sweat, inflammation, not just in, that area, but also knees, everywhere, joints, even feelings of depression and suicide, because the natural detoxification pathways start to shut down. The way in which the body wants to heal is through expulsion, getting a toxic substance through an orifice, for example. That's why when we cough or sneeze, the particles come, that's the way the body wants to heal, through expelling that germ, if you like. Otherwise, it might come through the other end with needing to go to the bathroom, or through the pores of the skin in a rash. But with the implant, which is a foreign body within the body, it's got nowhere to go. So the kidneys, the liver, the gallbladder, everything don't work as well as they should or could, and that's why these women are actually feeling like they're dying.
So are we warning women to not do breast implants
anymore?
It would be great.
It would be great to get them to, if we could just heal the world and bring it back to attachment parenting, respecting a woman's body and what it can do, so that, beauty comes from everywhere, from posture, from confidence, from... I've never seen an unattractive person smiling.
Can you talk to the audience a little bit about your own personal journey, just for us? I don't want to delve too deep, but we're already getting deep.
Don't go anywhere. We'll be back in just a moment with more conversation, right after a quick word from our sponsors. This is Men Talk 2.
Pilates Pro Chair Max combines the sculpting power of Pilates with easy, effective cardio exercise workout videos. Available on demand anywhere. A Pilates machine designed to help you get a leaner, stronger, and more flexible body. Engineered for all fitness levels, it targets every muscle group with low-impact workouts that deliver the highest results. Work your arms and entire body together or separately, making every workout tailored to your needs. Are you ready to transform your body and elevate your fitness routine from the comfort of your home? Take the first step towards a leaner, healthier, happier you.
Build and shape your glutes in less time. Looking to tone your glutes and improve your overall fitness level? The Booty Bridge is perfect for at-home workouts. This simple device can help you achieve amazing results. Designed for all fitness levels, Booty Bridge is easy to use, so you'll be able to get a great workout even if you're not a fitness expert. The Booty Bridge is portable, so you can take it with you wherever you go and easily fold it to stow away at home. Build a beach-worthy booty. This is Booty Bridge.
All right, we're back. Let's jump right back into the conversation.
Can you talk to the audience a little bit about your own personal journey, just for us? I don't want to delve too deep, but we're already getting deep. You are gorgeous. I mean, your breast from head to toe, gorgeous.
But look, everyone is gorgeous, David, that is my whole mission.
You had your implants taken out.
Yeah.
So you currently don't have implants?
No, so Was
it torturous to take out?
Absolutely, the whole thing was torturous in terms of waiting for the surgery, because there's not enough surgeons that can do the explant. It's an oncological procedure. Also, it costs about 2 to 3 times more than what it costs to put in. And also, there's a lot of medical gaslighting going on.
Right.
I wasn't triaged. I had 6 surgeons and an MRI say that I was fine. But there was actually a rupture exactly to where I was pinpointing it to be on the left side.
They said no.
No, you're
Because
fine.
they're looking at it as a cosmetic thing that you've done to yourself versus
Yeah.
something that really has a medical issue you have to deal with.
But also, the new data around it being this inflammatory driver wasn't around. And for the first time, only 2 months ago, the International Society of Aesthetic Plastic Surgeons said that, yes, breast implant illness is real. So for a man, what does that mean? Well, you need to keep an eye on your woman if she's having symptoms and you just think she's being menopausal, perimenopausal, or acting anxious or hysterical, or, you've got to make sure that these women are being looked after.
Well, this is a lot to take in. This is our first day. We hope to have Andie back again and again and again as our expert, because you are just the absolute best. You can go. All right, so to wrap things up, first of all, I can't even tell you how you've moved me today, and thank you for answering some very deep questions, and us men really appreciate it. I just didn't know the answers to that, and the fact that the breastfeeding and all of this is related to where we are today stuns me, because again, I don't know enough, but we're learning. Elliot?
No, I think that, it's not just men talking, as we talked about before, but it's men listening. And if we listen to our partner, we might learn something. Like, I had no idea about those challenges with the implants and with having them taken out and the health issues associated with that. And if the man is aware of that, they can be there for the woman as they go through those challenges. And also, if you're a new parent, it's good to know that these kinds of things that you do at the beginning are going to have really lifelong impacts on the child, on the boy or the girl. But obviously, we're talking about men, and that can really affect men.
Well, can I say one last thing? My mother had breast cancer.
All right.
Okay, so I was 12 or 13 when she had her breast cancer, and she had double mastectomy.
Right, bless her. Yeah.
My father took her to Germany to get Laetrile and this is 55 years later. My mom's 88.
Yeah.
And I will never forget that she said, well, Alan, my dad, should I get reconstructive surgery and get implants? And my dad was so cool, and I'll never forget this, and it means a lot to me. And he goes, Beth, absolutely not.
Wow.
I'm an ass man.
Oh, that's fantastic. I just got goosebumps when you said that.
That stuck with me forever. So us men should never force women, because it's the first thing maybe we think about is how you look that way.
Yeah.
And it doesn't really matter, does it?
How wonderfully supportive. He actually saved her life, because if you think about it, we all jump to spend $5 on a pink ribbon for breast cancer awareness.
Right.
But we're actually, I guess, perpetuating the industry that's going to then create a new cancer. So you're removing one, but potentially putting in squamous cell carcinoma or anaplastic
You are
large
saving
cell.
lives.
Yeah.
And I'm again, us men generationally, if we really watch and listen, and our dads are our role models, hopefully the dads will be good enough to understand that you don't want your wife to die of breast cancer.
Yeah, look, it's interesting that we're talking about this in National Breast Cancer Awareness Month too.
Right.
But as you say, with men listening and women feeling heard, I always say half the healing is in the hearing. So
You're amazing. Thank you,
Thank
Andie.
you.
Can't wait to see you again.
thank you, guys.
Look forward to seeing you, and get that book.
Treasured
God.
chest.
I have that.
have that here.
There it is.
It's right here. It's Treasured Chest, and this has gone viral. It's going to be one of the biggest sellers of the year. And all I could say is it meant a lot to me, and I thank my dad that he thought the way he did.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thanks for being
Thanks,
here.
guys.
man.
Thanks.
Thank you.
All right, guys.
This podcast is presented solely for educational and entertainment purposes. I'm just a man and your friend. I'm not a licensed therapist nor a doctor, and this podcast is not intended to take the place of a physician, professional coach, psychotherapist, or professional. Got it? Good. I'll see you in the next episode of Men Talk to MT2.